Hey, just going through my comic book collection. Sorry, I didn't see you standing there.
But you asked me to come in here.
I didn't see you standing there. And I just wanted to kind of like dig around here through my comics. And, okay. Seriously, all kidding aside. Over the last, I guess, couple of years, I've been a little unenthusiastic about doing videos. I really kind of have lost the spark on it. I have focused also more on like my daily life and publishing, like publishing the Red Knight comic and DeVita and other things I've been working on. So I have kind of let things drop. But the good news is I've decided I kind of want to keep going. So I am going to kind of dust off the Manos Collection videos I've been doing, and I'm going to do them a little bit slightly different than I've been used to. I feel like they've been a little bit too scripted for my liking, and I don't know. They just feel, last few has just felt a little too stilted. So what I'm going to do is more in the lines of how I used to do it, the regular comic book reviews, but with a little bit more like focus, and I don't know, that's what I'm going to be talking about. But hey, I thought I'd start things off with the bang with Batman, Dark Knight, Dark City. Let's go. Hey, I'm back. All right, now we are talking about a Batman story from 1990, and it is Batman 452, 453, and 454, Dark Knight, Dark City. Now, this isn't some kind of black label or event or one-shot or miniseries or some shit like that. No, it was just an arc in the regular series, and this is something they used to do a little bit more back in the day. Nowadays, when they have some kind of special story they want to tout, it'll be some sort of special, like, outside miniseries or event or something like that. DC does the black label stuff a lot. But back then, this is kind of when they were starting to really push the event marketing of a arc. Like, oh, this has a title and like multi-parts, and you pick this up because this is special. With the branding and everything like that. Denny O'Neil, actually, of the Batman titles, actually kind of started to invent this, which is interesting. The guy quietly changed comics for the better, and maybe arguably for the worse in some regards, but I mean mostly for the better. And good lord, this is one of those things. This is when he was still editor of the book. And the team on this book, I think, was Alan Grant and Norm Breyfogle. I can't remember if they made the jump yet from Detective Comics to the regular Batman book, but this is about around that time. And this regular team is Peter Milligan and Kifron Dreyer, and this is Dark Knight, Dark City. Now, you gotta imagine, this is 1990, just a couple years, like 5-6 years earlier, there was the Dark Knight Returns, The Killing Joke, and just a year, while this was being made, I assume, the Batman 89 film had come out. And there was a huge emphasis on Joker, and, how psychotic and crazy he was. Oh man, he's a dark, crazy killer, psycho killer, crazy. Oh, and then of course the tension started to go to some of the other villains, like, what can they bring? How dark can they get now? And that Riddler's kind of in the top 4 of the Batman villains, especially at the time. So it was like, oh, what are we going to do with the Riddler? And so that was kind of like pitched like, oh, hey, Riddler goes dark. This is a dark, crazy Riddler here. And they kind of undersell the fact that this is kind of a Lovecraftian eldritch horror story with Riddler involved as kind of the human villain. Like I said, it essentially boils down to, what have I got here? Issue 1 opens up 100 years ago, and it's featuring. Well, it's basically the journal of what's his name, Jacob Stockman, and Jacob Stockman is kind of at the end of his life, and he's kind of confessing within his journals this horrible thing he did with his friends, where they summoned a demon and then they got really scared and ran away. That's basically the story. And one of those guys actually was Thomas Jefferson. He was one of his, I don't know, college bros that like, decided to get drunk and sacrifice somebody to a demon. Now, it's funny because in a couple of issues in the letters column, some letter writers were a little disturbed with the fact that one of our founding fathers, the great Thomas Jefferson, would be portrayed in this way where he would summon a demon and, you know, sacrifice a young woman to the demon. But you know what? Considering what we know about Thomas Jefferson, that's actually lower on the list as far as shitty things he did. So let's have fun with this. And yeah, it opens up with the demon coming, and they do something really interesting here, is that they do something similar to Alan Moore and Brian Boland's Killing Joke, where we have transitions from flashbacks to the present, where, you know, we see shots and mimicked, you know, by, you know, something that's going on now. Like we see the shot of the sacrifice lamb with the tarp, the cloak all over her, and it's getting dark and spread out, and then we go right to Batman. And that's done on purpose because I'll get to that once we go on. But there's some nice visual story telling and nice kind of clues as to reader as what to expect. Now, Dreyer, I haven't read too many comics with him in it, but he jumps in about around the time that Batman had, you know, Breyfogle as kind of the primary artist, taking over for Jim Aparo, and you know, he does kind of that kind of style, and it does really look really nice, because what Breyfogle was doing and what this story does is has that kind of like spooky vibe to, you know, Batman, and I do enjoy spooky Batman stories. So Jim Gordon lets him know, hey, the Riddler's back in town. There's something funny here in this sequence is that apparently they get so many crank calls of people pretending they're the Batman villains that the Batman villains have now kind of agreed onto this system of codes. Like, hey, I'm the Riddler. I'm going to kill everybody at this stadium. Oh, hold on. Yeah, my password is 5639. Okay, anyway, what I was saying was I'm going to kill everybody, you know, just so they know it's him. So, while they're talking about the fact that Riddler has kidnapped 4 babies, and they're not, like, important celebrity babies, they're not, like, you know, connected to anybody, you know, politically important or any shit like that. He just took babies, and, you know, no ransom or anything like that, except contacting Batman, like, I need you to get these babies back, but I need you to do it in these certain spots, and he's basically running him through this labyrinth, and, you know, to make sure he knows that he's serious, he sends this hypnotized woman programmed with this riddle, and then she jumps off the cliff, the roof of the building, killing herself. Unfortunately, Batman did try to save her, but, you know, we get a Gwen Stacy moment, basically, where it kind of doesn't matter, it's too late. Then we get introduced to the Riddler, where he, like, he shoots this one guard while he's waiting for Batman to save him, and the other one is hung, and Batman lets the Riddler go, and he gives the guy mouth-to-mouth. As he chases Riddler again, let's see, he gets, like, almost grabs the baby, like, gets the baby, he's hiding him in this blood bank, and as he grabs the baby, these explosions go off. Oh, actually, the baby is, this is one of the dummy babies. This is the dummy baby that is filled with blood. And it gets all over him. He chases him out, I imagine, rather pissed off. But that's when Batman realizes that the baby in the road is not a fake baby this time. Riddler just dropped a baby in the road for Batman to maybe run over or not. Hopefully counting on him not running over the child. And there's this kind of amazing dark moment where Batman's not sure if he just ran over a baby with the Batmobile. And he's able to pick the child up, save baby one. And Alfred and him kind of get together, and they kind of like figure out the next Riddler, which takes Batman to a cemetery where he is accosted by this zombie. And that's the cliffhanger for issue 1 of this. And you don't know, like, you assume probably this is a real zombie because, well, I mean, there is supernatural shit in the DC universe. Batman has faced it time again here, and of course we did start off with a supernatural bent to this story. So what is Batman facing there? Well, glad you asked. Hi. Now I'm going to talk about the next issue, if you don't mind. It is Batman 453, and this has another killer Mike Mignola cover. And there's something interesting about these covers, and I'll bring it up at the end of the video. But here's the second one, him fighting or being pulled down underground by these zombies, and classic Mike Mignola kind of style. So anyway, as we open, we got to the cliffhanger from last issue with Batman being attacked by a zombie. And there's more zombies coming after him, where he gets in this big zombie fight, all while being watched by the Riddler and his gang. We have a nice little splash page here. So, while we get fighting, Batman realizes when he hits one of them, he reacts like a regular guy. He goes, ugh, like he kind of like moves and acts like one, while the other ones are a little bit more robotic. And like he very quickly realizes during the fight that okay, one of these Riddler's obviously pulling a Scooby-Doo here, where these zombies are fake. The other zombies are robots, and the lead zombie is a real guy in makeup. And just before Batman is able to get him to talk, Riddler detonates like a little grenade that was on him, which I'm pretty sure he wasn't aware of. Also, how weird is it to like be dressed up in full zombie makeup at a cemetery and die? Like the next morning when they find you, they're just gonna like chuck you back in and go, well, this is weird, one got out, let's put him back. I mean, in DC Universe, that could happen. So anyway, he runs away and escapes, chasing after him, and one of the henchmen is so close to killing him, like he's right under the wheels of their van. He's like, okay, finally, great, I can run over Batman and kill him. And Riddler turns him away, and he goes, look, I got my reasons. Believe me, this is all part of the plan. I can't kill him yet. So Batman's thinking, okay, he is purposely not trying to kill me right now, and he wants me to go after these babies in a manner of different ways. He's leading me on purpose through a labyrinth, and he is able to recover the baby in the cemetery, right next to a tombstone that has this clue. It says, you'll find another little tot at the 25th who was shot. And this starts to kind of like weird out Batman. And by the way, we jump back to the flashback from, Stockman's journals, as we get the full story that, yeah, they had this young girl set up as a sacrifice for the demon Barbatos. But when Barbatos actually shows up, they get so scared, they run out of the cellar and like nail down the doors and get the hell out, leaving the screaming girl there by herself, trapped with the demon in this room underground. So great guys, yeah, great work, Thomas Jefferson. You're terrific. All right, then we get to this neat little kind of creepy page where we go from like the way the house was, and we see through the years it built up, and it's like now just a corner of some street in Gotham, just like any other street corner you may see in a big city, except there's a demon in the basement. So we get to that same street, and Batman's just circling the block and wondering about the riddle, and he feels this thing kind of like egging him on. He feels some kind of weird kind of voice calling to him, and we are literally getting that in the narration of something talking about Batman and their feelings about him. So we get, of course, this is 1990, so we're full on to the Batman parents' dreams and stuff like that. So, and flashbacks. So he wakes up and he realizes, okay, maybe Riddler knows who I am. Maybe Riddler knows about the murder of the Waynes and how it's connected to me and Batman. So he goes to that corner. Meanwhile, we're seeing like Riddler not give a single shit about his henchmen, which is pretty typical, by the way, but still. He gets to like this coffee shop. He walks right in as Batman, but before he's able to really talk to this off-duty cop and the guy behind the counter, a van like crashes in, and oh no, it's pit bull terriers. And let me explain something to you. Like, you hear how people like talk about how pit bull terriers are actually really loving dogs, and they seem to be really kind of like arguing against this stereotype of them being vicious. Well, this is during the exact period where the media was just really, really fucking scared of pit bull terriers. They were like, these little land sharks that suddenly you just couldn't get away from in the media. There were talk shows and like news stories about how deadly they were all the time, and they were really kind of, I can't really say dehumanized because dogs aren't humans. De-dogomized? I don't know. They were kind of like thought of as monsters that, in dog form or something like that. And apparently Batman agrees with that, because like the guy behind the counter hands Batman a knife and goes, "Here, Batman!" And he stabs and kills this dog, like not even like trying to subdue it. Getting blood all over him. It's really horrifying. And you know what? Batman has actually, if you forgive pit bull terrier aspect of it, Batman has a history of just killing dogs. Like, I believe it's Batman issue 600, I think he does, if I'm not mistaken. The Dark Knight actually features a scene with him knocking a dog off a ledge, and we don't see what happens to the dog, but we kind of assume the dog probably gets killed. And then this, it's like he's a cat person or something. Actually, that does kind of work out. But holy crap, Batman, your no-kill policy can extend to other creatures, but whatever. So, let's see, he's able to escape that. He runs after the van. He chases after henchmen. They get down to this, this kind of tunnel, and he finds a crib, and the Riddler's right there at the crib. And he goes, "Well, okay, I'm gonna get going. Here's that last baby. Oh, you may want to do something about the little, let's see, what did he have in this? I think he had like, he had a ball. He lodged a ball in a baby's throat. Oh, which is pretty bad, actually. And, he purposely put it there for Batman to kind of try and get it, but it's choking very quick. And Batman very quickly realizes that he may have to use a tracheotomy on this baby. And that's how issue 2 ends, with Batman realizing he has to cut a baby's throat after killing a dog. So, it's quite an issue. There we go. Hi, we're back for the final issue of Dark Knight, Dark City. And this is the third cover done by Mike Mignola, and I'll get to one more point about the covers in just a moment. But as we left off, Batman was about to cut a baby, and of course it's to save its life. That's because Riddler had lodged a ball, a little tiny ball in its throat to choke the baby, so Batman would have to do something like that. He is able to successfully perform the tracheotomy and get the baby to safety in time to save it. And while we're doing that, we are still getting that mysterious narration, which we presume is the demon, which we would presume right. And it's talking about how magnificent he is, and he's truly one of the, well, what's the word here? You are my finest creation, my favorite child. Anyway, we get back to the Batcave after all that's said and done, with Batman kind of figuring out, where exactly the Riddler is, and then we get one last cut to Stockman in his journal, and it's during his, presumably last days. He's getting older and he's wanting to get this kind of like out there, and he is kind of feeling a tiny bit guilty with sacrificing a teenage girl, leaving her trapped in a cellar to die with a demon. I mean, maybe you might feel a little bad about that. So we get this kind of horrifying flash about it right here. In her final days, she was just trapped with no food or water, and just eventually just passed away. So we finally get to this lovely shot of let's see, where are we? Just kind of the fairgrounds of this carnival. I gotta say, carnival stuff is always cool for creepy comic book storylines, and I absolutely love it here. He is led into this pathway, and finally went to the building, the actual place where the act had been committed hundreds of years ago. We get a neat shot of the Norm Brayfogle Batmobile, by the way, and he is led in there. He gets in a fight with a couple of the henchmen. One is armed with a flamethrower, and he's about to take out Batman again. This guy is like, "Come on, man, he's here. We can get him." And Riddler shoots him to keep him from killing Batman, because the whole plan has been able to lead Batman into this labyrinth, and to be sacrificed to Barbatos, you have to commit a certain series of acts, some of which Batman would not do, like cutting a baby. So he figured out these elaborate tricks, like putting the ball in the baby's throat, hanging a man so he would kiss a dead man, and dance with the dead, and blah 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 blah. So he would kind of trick Batman into doing these acts. So he's able to capture Batman, tie him up, and he explains kind of the rest of the story, and that's when Barbatos shows up in voiceover form and tells Riddler, "Okay, you know what? You're done. Thank you. Thank you for your service in getting here. I really appreciate it. You can go." And Riddler takes off. Scared and terrified, more terrified than he is disappointed that he didn't get the ultimate power he thought he was going to be getting out of this. He'd rather just kind of escape and live. So he, Barbatos talks to Batman now and explains to him the details of the situation. Stockman, Jefferson, and the others didn't see Barbatos when he showed up, because he is unseen to their eyes. What they saw was just a bat. A bat showed up, and they got really spooked and scared, thought it was a demon, and panicked and ran out, trapping Barbatos in the body of the young girl Dominique, leaving them both to die in this cellar. And he has just been there, and as well as her, her spirit has been there, and they in ghost form talk to Batman, and he is able to break open the door, because what Riddler does is he does the same thing. He locks the door, trapping Batman and her and Barbatos in there. He has set the building on fire. He's like, "Okay, look, this is gonna happen. Now I can kill him." But of course, Batman being Batman, he's not going to be stopped by a locked door. So he's able to break through the door, escape with the young woman, and she is reduced back to skeletal form. And he feels this kinship with her, almost like a sister to her. And even buries her next to the Waynes, which I'm sure brought up no questions from anybody else. I don't think this has been kept up in continuity of the multiple reboots that we've seen since then, so it was a nice gesture while it lasted, I suppose. And kind of Batman does a little bit of soul searching here, like, you know, the idea of free will versus destiny, essentially. Like, you know, did Barbatos trapped in Gotham kind of create this atmosphere, this invoking this kind of spirit, this energy that kind of made me? Was I the product of all this, or you know, am I the person of my own choices? And it kind of ends on that mysterious note. This will be attempted to be answered several times over. To be honest, I don't particularly like it. One of the things I like about the Batman origin is the randomness of it, the ordinariness of it. Like, two people got shot on the street in like a regular robbery, and it led Batman to do great and big things. There have been times where I've thought about that, like when he's doing the most fantastic shit ever, and it really did start from a guy getting a trigger finger over two people he ran into in the street. That's it. And that's one of the things I like about, like, kind of the spookiness of this whole story. And speaking of spookiness, we never really see what Barbatos looks like, but let's go back to those Mike Mignola covers, and he kind of like gives us a visual. Like, this gargoyle right here looks very much like this this cemetery, like, tombstone creature right here. And then right behind Riddler, we get this kind of shadowy creature right here. So I don't know if Mike Mignola was instructed by the creators of this arc, or the editor, Denny O'Neil, or maybe he just did this on his own. He does kind of try to answer that question a little bit, like what he might look like. All in all, this is a story that has kind of remained with me. I've always really liked it. I know I've used the word spooky a few times during this. I really dig that aspect of Batman, where it's kind of on the line between super villainy and crime stuff with a little bit of spookiness. That's always a nice little thread that they do in some Batman stories. Denny O'Neil, like, kind of was really good at doing that. Sometimes, you know, I really like it because we know this kind of stuff exists in the DC universe. So when we get to that point of, like, you know, are we seeing what we think we're seeing? I think it makes it more interesting instead of just showing us literally everything, which they can, and they do sometimes, but I really like how it's done here. So, hey, that is Batman Dark Knight Dark City, and I kind of dug it. It was a pretty good story. And this is kind of how I want to do some my videos, the Manos Collection, from the time being, where I just kind of sit with you and talk with you a little bit about it, and kind of bring it out where it's not fully scripted. I do plan and note my stuff, so, you know, I don't completely go in half-baked. I go in full-baked. That's what I do. So, hey, leave a comment below. I am The Real Manos. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm also got a TikTok. And you can like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for all things Manos. And don't forget that I also independently create comics at Manos Publishing. You can support me and the channel and Manos Publishing at $1 a month over at Patreon. So I think that's the business out of the way. I hope you have a good day, and we'll be talking more things comics soon. Hey, I forgot one more thing, so please indulge me for just a second. I want to choose the next comic that we're going to review for the Manos Collection, but I'm a little uncertain of which one I should go with, so I thought I'd have you, the viewer, decide. So, in the comments below, leave me a vote if you'd rather me review League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or Avatar: The Last Airbender: The Search. And leave a comment below letting me know which one you'd rather me talk about. Alright. Push the button, Lindsay.